wonderful to be here with everyone tonight. Thank you all again for coming out and joining this conversation with us. We're really honored to be in front of you, and in just a minute we're going to have Rebecca from our team really present our budget to you, our proposed budget, but we wanted to have kind of some opening words for you if we could. The first thing we really wanted to emphasize is just a word of thanks. You know, we appreciate all that everyone gathered here has done for us in the past year, 2 years, 3 years, this whole period of adventure that we've been on locally. We've really appreciated the support. And yes, that is financial support that we're appreciative of. We're also appreciative of your words of encouragement, your support of us in our day-to-day activities and our staff in our day-to-day activities. And we send that to our board as well as the governing bodies gathered here. When we bring forward this budget to you tonight, we also want you to know it has lots of input operating behind it. Rebecca does run our numbers for us, but it has a ton of input from a variety of sources, including our board budget committee, and both of those members are here tonight. John Littleton and Marie Fitzpatrick sit on that committee for us. It really is a lot of work and a lot of extra meetings that they go to help us put this together. We have staff input from all of our administrators, which includes lots of feedback from lots of different individuals that go into this process, as well as our full board's work session. So we just wanted you to know that. We think you'll find our budget is true to form and focusing on our strategic priorities that are already identified, and we're probably all pretty conversant in those, but we want to make sure our kids are really engaged. We want to make sure we're communicating, and we want to make sure we're getting our kids ready for their futures, hopefully also connected to our community. So we call that Future Ready for the Community. You'll hear notes of that as Rebecca goes through the budget, even though you will hear lots of nuts and bolts as well. What we bring to you tonight does prioritize recruitment and retention of staff. And we want to make sure that we all are on the same page with the fact that the Alleghany Highlands are no exception to nationwide staffing shortages across a variety of industries, certainly teaching being among them. So Rebecca will be speaking with us a little bit about that. And we're just really excited about all those pieces we bring to you tonight. We do want to fairly acknowledge a couple of points. We've been very excited that the consolidation process has continued to exert downward pressure on rising costs. We all see costs of everything going up. That's just shopping at the grocery store. But we've been excited about the efficiencies we've been able to realize by working together. And we are not bringing your request for any additional local dollars because of that reason. So we've been very pleased with that fact, and we hope that's pleasing to you all as well. We certainly know that everyone gathered here is aware that the General Assembly and the Governor aren't quite finished with their process. And so there's a little bit of ambiguity in our budget tonight because we don't know exactly what will happen at the state level. We want to be fair to that process, but I think as everyone also knows, we have a code requirement to bring this to you at about this juncture in time, so we want you to have what you need to do your budget process. And we're really appreciative of the ideas that you all have brought us to embed our capital improvement plan, ongoing capital needs across time, into this process. So we're excited to have that for you tonight as well. So there are actually 2 documents in front of you, and Rebecca and Eric will be speaking to those. So on behalf of Melinda and I, we're just really excited to be here. We hope that's helpful. And are we good to?
We're good, and we do appreciate you being here tonight, taking your time to hear what our needs are and how impressed we are with the consolidation process and what we can do together. We can do it better together. And we're here to talk to you about the budget process and our capital improvement. So I think we're ready, if you all are ready, for the presentation tonight.
I want to take a moment to just echo the thank you that have been shared with our local government leaders. The willingness to support us in our efforts around the school division with many maintenance issues by both the city and the county have really been heartwarming to us and the school division. That level of commitment just shows how much everyone supports our students, and I just want to take a moment to thank Michelle for that. It's really been an incredible experience to be part of that this year. Moving on to the capital improvement plan. Everyone knows this is a living document. It's always changing and evolving. Things will get updated from time to time, not just annually. The CIP reflects a 5-year plan. It also includes the prior year for reference, and that way we can show if projects are carrying over from year to year. It's formatted by site. It's we're going to focus on fiscal year 24-25, of course, and there's 2 unfunded projects that we'll run across. Again, the rest of them in the current fiscal year, we've identified funding in-house for those. So we'll talk about those. One of them is a roofing project that's identified at Mountain View Elementary and Clifton Academy site. The other one is a tennis court project at Alleghany High School. Any projects that are labeled for operating funds, you will see that they're something that we're going to try to absorb in our normal operating budget or use them in a year where we have a little bit of excess operating funds to complete those. So as you see those, just know that they're ones that we have identified as a need, but they're not really a high need, so that they may carry forward. And with that, I'll start reviewing site by site and just give you a brief overview of each project. And we'll go pretty rapidly, but if you need to stop me and ask questions, please do. So Alleghany High School is our first site. Try to get the mouse to work again. I can use the touchpad. Yeah. The mouse is dead, so we'll carry it. All right, Alleghany High School. We're currently looking at the tennis court project. I'm sure everyone's aware of that. We've been discussing it with our school board. We're in the planning phases of that project, and therefore funding hasn't been identified. We're moving forward with some geotechnical site testing and some design work for that project, so we have a complete project package so that we can move forward with that planning process at the moment. The auditorium stage AD accessibility upgrade, that is focused on getting students who may be chair-bound onto the stage inside the auditorium at Alleghany High School. Currently, there's a very steep ramp that's temporarily placed there. It's nowhere near meeting code requirements for today. We'd like to put a platform lift there to service those students who need to access that area. HVAC controls replacement. We're currently experiencing issues with our controls. That building has a full building control system that runs on software. We currently can only see about half of the building on the software, as a lot of the equipment is out of service life and we can't buy replacement parts for thermostats and things. We're having to utilize thermostats that the system can't recognize. They function, but the system can't see them. So it makes it a little less, gives us less ability for energy efficiency to adjust the building, is what I would say. Rear parking lot paving. That's the gravel parking lot that's up on the hill. Due to the increased student occupancy, we feel it's in our advantage to pave that parking area up there, bring some more stability to the site. We're constantly having to go back and regrade the lot and things to keep it from potholing out. Everyone's familiar with the issues we have with gravel sites, and that's why we have that identified in the project. As I say, everything on this page, with the exception of the tennis courts, we've identified internal funding for. Moving on to Covington Middle School. Once again, we're talking about ADA building accessibility upgrades. I think those are pretty self-explanatory. We're doing those. The building services students very well at the moment, but we always feel like that we can do a better job of servicing our people who have needs like that with accessibility, and so we've identified several projects to help with that. Gym locker room upgrade. It's just time for a refresh. Every locker room gets heavy use with students year-round, and it's just time for a refresh of that facility. Gym rebranding. and court repaint refinish. That's upcoming this year. It's still currently branded for the former Covington High School on the floor. So we do need to do some work there. We just really ran out of time last summer. Just couldn't get to it. Burton Field wall reinforcement and field upgrade. This is to address some undermining issues on the foundation of the Burton Wall field. It's something that needs addressed, and while we have the funding, we'd like to go ahead and take care of that, stabilize that, so that it doesn't become a bigger expense later on. And HVAC additional units. This is adding conditioning to spaces that formerly were not used for daily class. They were more shop areas, and we need to bring HVAC improvements in those areas because there's classes being held in those areas now. And occasionally there's a room that may have an older type of unit that we'd like to upgrade. There's a few of those still around. Let's move to the next slide. Watson Elementary. Just a couple of projects at Peter Watson. Library shades. This is related to school safety. It provides a blind area for refuge, and that's why we're focused on providing blinds in that area, really. Restroom floor repair. You can see that one's one of the ones labeled as surplus operating budget. I believe we can find a budgetary year, potentially this year, to do that project within our operating budget, and that's why it's identified that way. We move to the next slide. Callahan Elementary. Callahan Elementary, the large project is asbestos tile abatement project. We're currently staging up that project. It's a significant portion of the building. We're trying to work with our vendors to put out an RFP. We're making sure we have the scope of work correct at the moment to put it out to bid. And determine how large of a project we can actually do this year. We hope to do it in its entirety, but we certainly don't want to cause any disruption, so we'll make sure we scale the project appropriately. Classroom countertop and sink replacement. That one's included because it makes sense because we have to tear those out to do the abatement of the tile. So we kind of combine those in the current budget year as addressing both of those at the same time. Move to the next slide.
Is it tile and mastic?
Yes.
Another tile?
Yes, 909 tiles. Mountain View Elementary. This is one of the sites as I identified earlier that has a project that we have no funding identified for at the moment. And that is I know we all think of Mountain View as being the new school, but the truth is it has been in service for about 21 years, I believe now, which means the roof was probably on at least the year before that. It's at the end of its service life, and we're starting to experience the issues related to that. So that is a project that we do need to put a priority on. And, we're going to be looking for funding for that for sure, and may come back to speak with the board supervisors about that potentially.
Do you have any picture of the shingles?
I do, but I can share that with you.
We probably ought to look at those at some point because they had to be seconds or something to deteriorate the way they had.
Yeah, they're interesting. A lot of they look great from the ground, but when you get up on the roof and walk around, there's a whole lot of aggregate missing off of those shingles. A lot. Gym floor restriping at the academy. This is an auxiliary gym. It's used a whole lot by the schools as well as the community at large. And the paint's fading severely on it, and we just need to restripe that gym floor to make it feasible to move forward for use. It'll be an asset to the community at large once we do that again. Moving to the next slide. Sharon Elementary. And HVAC replacement. We've got some non-functioning mini splits in the kitchen area. as well as some older ERV units, energy recovery ventilation units. Those are commercial units that help exchange air and recover some of the energy loss that would be associated with it. Commercial buildings usually do not have operable windows adequate to service for fresh air supply, and that's why you're required by building code to have fresh air brought into the building through the and some of these units are very aged. We replaced a couple of them in the HVAC project there at that building, but all the others on this building are the same vintage, and we would like to replace a couple of the troublesome units there if we can. And we can move to the next slide, which is the school board office. And we have a bathroom repair that we're slated to do. We have a plumbing issue that's just repetitive at that building. It's basically a plumbing pipe that's underneath the bathroom, and the pipe's offset and split. So the only way to do that is demo the floor out, and we have a pretty major project there. But it's a necessary repair that has to occur. So that's the 30,000 there, and funding source not necessarily identified, but that is probably going to happen out of just operational funds. It's a repair that we need to do just multiple times a year. We've had assistance from county multiple times. They've helped us figure out playing, and finally helped us with the camera so we can identify why it was reoccurring. And that's basically it in a nutshell. We've got the bus garage as well, if anyone has any questions about that, but there's really no projects to be had there this year to speak of. But I'm happy to field any questions anyone has about any project or any site.
I don't have a question, but I have a comment.
Sure.
The plan, capital improvement plan that you put together,
Thank you, sir.
it gives you everything we need to know in a nutshell about the school, capacity, where we stand, and it'll be used. Thank you much.
I really appreciate that, and I'll give a lot of credit to Ben Jackson. And he headed that up a lot, just a little bit of guidance from me, and he did an excellent job. Thank you very much. Okay. No more questions. I'll turn the meeting back over. Jonathan?
Thank you, sir. Well, I don't have anything else to necessarily add, except for I'll take the opportunity while I have a chance to echo a lot of what Eric just said, both to Covington City Public Works, the County Public Works, just throughout the course of this year. As he alluded to, there's been a lot of cooperation and help from both governments. So let's just underline and italicize that for you all. We really, really, really do appreciate the support that we've got from the government. So thank you very much. Ms. Hoffman, you have anything to add?
I think that's just what we would echo, because that really tangible point of need assistance has been incredible, and we know that we're all here for our kids, and we really appreciate it. Thank y'all.